Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. So 2018 is finally behind us, and we're barely starting 2019. Tomorrow there's going to be a game update in order to be able to give us access to the anniversary event. So if you log in tomorrow and the game is down, don't be surprised. Basically they're installing whatever patch or hotfix we need in order to be able to gain access to the anniversary event. The anniversary event should last pretty much all throughout the month of January. That's usually how it worked before, so there's no reason not to expect it to be the same this year. Although there could be changes. If there is any changes, don't worry, I'll probably make a follow-up video about that. But that's not really what we're going to do today. I'm just going to make a fun video. There's quite a few things that people have been asking for. People have been asking me to make a video about all the new Justice League emblems, or all the Justice League emblems we have right now in the game. I'll do that a bit later this week. I already had set up my armories with a whole bunch of Justice League characters. I'd done that before that, but since the request came in, it'll be simple enough to make that video, since pretty much everything is already set up. There's also someone who asked for a gadget controller or a gadget loadout. I'm not sure if you want a controller or DPS. If I make a loadout video, I'll make both. So you can look forward to those a bit later. But today I just thought I'd make a fun video just showing off a bunch of my characters. Basically I'll show off my PlayStation 4 Heroes, and I'll probably show a few bases also. It's one of the things that some of you guys often ask me. Some of you often ask me to show off some of my characters and also show off some of my bases. And for the characters, we got a whole bunch of new materials throughout 2018, and we got a brand new base, as you can see in towards the end of 2018. So I'm going to show off at least a few of those. So let's get started. So as you can see, I have a sort of mishmash fake Superman costume. Basically, I've been tweaking with my armor. I was trying to reuse the cosmic skin. I've had this skin for a long time. I used it a bit early on during DC Universe Online, but I didn't get the chance to use it very often since then. And also, that's another thing that often people see all the stuff I have in my bases, and they wonder how long I've been playing. Basically, I've been playing since October 2011 or something like that. There's a few times where I wasn't playing very much for a few months because work was too crazy or something like that. But overall, I've been playing for quite some time, so I do have a lot of styles, which is why I'll go through at least a few of my characters to show off some of those. And also I have a whole bunch of stuff in my bases that maybe some of you never saw before. Like we had those Aquaman posters, not last summer, the one before, which are pretty nice looking posters overall. And as you can see, I have with this character I have 16 armories. This is pretty much my main character that I use most of the time, so I went all out and got him 16 armories. I have a sort of, as I said, fake Superman look. Basically, I wanted to use the 80th anniversary Superman emblem with at least one of my armory. I also have a Kryptonian armory, which I'll show it in just a bit. But I decided to make what is pretty much the main armory I used. Like, this is the DPS armory I use when I play solo. When I play with a group, I always pretty much play controller. Unless the group asks me to switch to DPS, usually I'll play as a controller. Here I made a sort of Batman armory, because why not? And with the Dark Spectre back piece, well, I can have a Batman that flies, no problem. As you can see also, I'm using one of the movement modes. Actually, I'm using all of them, but on various characters. Like here you can see I made a Kryptonian armory with basically Kryptonian powers. And I wanted to recreate, at first I was recreating the evil Ultraman I still have an armory here with him. At some point I was using the evil Ultraman with my Kryptonian armory, but then I decided, nah, let's make it Superman. And then I tried to make it Superman 1 million, using the 80th anniversary emblem. But then I realized that actually the Fallen God was more appropriate for that. Because basically I was trying also with the Batman v Superman emblem, but it was kind of hard to match the gold color with the Superman emblem. So I thought, hey, I already have an armor that has a really nice looking Superman emblem, so let's make it my Superman 1 million. Also, I wanted to have at least one armory that uses the awesome Scorching Aura. I love this aura. The Fire Aura is so awesome. It's the aura I was using by default for quite some time. Right now I'm using the Blue Plasmic Aura, as you see. with my main armory. But the Scorching Aura is pretty much one of my favorite aura, so I'm gonna have to try to figure a way to use it a bit more. And there's also the awesome Arctic Aura. Let's use it. I try to always have an armory that has dual pistols. The reason for that, very simple. When you're in the vault with dual pistols, it's awesome. You can go just like that, and you pretty much destroy any gift in your sight. So I try to always have at least one armory that has dual pistols. And you can see here, this is my, I guess, winter seasonal armory. And I was able to upgrade it a bit with the Arctic material. And this is the Arctic Aura. There's also someone who asked about what cold auras or materials there is in DC Universe Online. So I'll probably make a video about that before long as well. So yeah, lots of videos in the pipeline. So this week should probably be a busy week. And we're going to get the anniversary event, so that should keep me even more busy. So you can see, you can pretty much recreate the whole Justice League by now. You can, when we started playing DC Universe Online, DC Universe Online was, the devs were pretty much going out of their way to keep us from being able to recreate iconic characters. But that's pretty much behind us. At some point, they finally decided to give us what we asked for. So we now have the option to recreate a pretty darn good-looking Superman. And there's even the Crimson Kryptonian aura for the hands. So I suspect there's going to be more of those in the future. And of course, we can recreate a pretty awesome looking Batman. Here I'm using the BVS Batman emblem, but there's also the Batman Rebirth emblem that you can use. The BVS Batman emblem, sadly, if you don't have it already, there's no way to get it anymore. But you can get the Batman Rebirth, no problem. And of course, the Aura of Bat, sadly, is only available during the Halloween seasonal. So if you want to recreate a really awesome looking Batman next Halloween, don't hesitate and get the Bat Aura. Or the Swarming Bat Aura, I should say. And the same with our friend The Flash. We can recreate a pretty darn accurate The Flash character. Although in this case, there is a slight tint. Let's use the armory. Here you may notice that my Flash boots are very, very yellow. The reason for that is very simple. I'm using a material. I'm using the Sinister material for the boots. So you can see one of the three materials I have is the Sinister material, and that is what I'm using for the boots. The reason for that, very simple. If you don't use a Sinister material, even if you put the boots yellow, like here you can see the boots are yellow, but there is a dark tint in the boots, so you cannot get really some nice crisp yellow boots. You can see the contrast just by looking, comparing it with the armor right there. So if you just leave the color of the boots, even if you put them yellow, 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 it never really gets yellow. So if you really want to have some nice sharp yellow boots, sadly you're going to need a material like the Sinister material. And of course, nowadays we can recreate pretty much any lantern. Actually, I was going to say any Green Lanterns. We can recreate pretty much any lanterns in the game. Right now, we have all the lanterns emblems in the game. And our friend Aquaman, by now there's like half a dozen different ways we can recreate our friend Aquaman. Here I mostly used the Mura style, but I'm going to show you a few other versions in just a bit. And of course, we have the Seafoam Aura, which looks awesome. Although, because of the armory, we don't see it quite as well. Well, we see it fine enough. And of course, Green Arrow. A few years ago, they gave us the Green Arrow costume from Season 4, I think, from the Arrow TV show. So, in the past, we could recreate a pretty darn good-looking Green Arrow. But now we can recreate an exact version of the Green Arrow, at least from the TV show. Although, we can recreate a pretty darn good version from the comics as well. And of course, there's our friend the Atom. For those of you who may know the Atom only from the TV show Legends of Tomorrow, it looks nothing like that. This is pretty much as close as we can get to the classic Atom as we can right now. Although the emblem should be in the character's forehead as opposed to being on the chest, but what can you do? This is the only place where we can really put an emblem, at least so far. And of course, our friend Hawkman. I love this look. By now, we can recreate a pretty darn good-looking Hawkman. And in a future video, I'll show you a bunch of different different versions of Hawkman that we can recreate. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. And of course, since last year we had the Earth 3 DLC, so since last year we can recreate a pretty darn good looking version of Ultraman. We even have the Ultraman cape, although the cape is a little pricey in the broker. And if you try to get it playing the 8-player Elite mission, the odds of getting the cape are very, very slim. And the emblems are fairly easy to get from the broker, if I recall. Although, and the Kryptonite Aura, that one used to be expensive. At some point, it went down as low as 18 millions or something like that. I should have bought another one at the time, but I was foolish and didn't do so. But I'm not sure how expensive it is right now. It's probably a bit expensive, but I don't think it is that expensive. And of course, we got an official suit for our friend Allman. So this is the one set of gear that you can purchase with the Earth 3 DLC. Although for the chest piece, I went with the Stalwart Defender chest piece to get a bigger version of the emblem. But there is an official Allman chest piece also with the emblem. But I thought the emblem was a little tiny, so I decided to tweak the look a bit. And of course, there's our friend Johnny Quick. Again, we have an enhanced version and a regular version of the Johnny Quick style. Actually, we do have also an enhanced version and a regular version of the Altman suit, but I was a bit lazy. I didn't get the enhanced version just yet. And for Johnny Quick, you can see I'm using also, there's a head you can get by gathering, I think you have to gather collections or investigations, I forget. But basically, there's at least two different heads for our friend Johnny Quick that we can get if we want to. And the suit looks pretty darn awesome. And there's also, basically we got emblems for a whole bunch of Crime Syndicate characters. And here you can see we can recreate a pretty darn good looking version of our friend Power Ring. Obviously, he's not that different from Green Lantern, so it wasn't that difficult to come up with it. And let's take a quick look around our lair, for those who may not have seen it. So here obviously I'm using the Atlantis lair. I'm going to look at a few lair with my multiverse character just for you. So there's some Aquaman poster we got some time ago, some Bat Signal from the Earth 3 DLC. I'm not going to say where everything comes from, but I'm going to mention a few if I can, like the Ultraman statue. I love this statue, it looks so awesome. That's also from the Earth 3 DLC. That's the Orrery of the Multiverse, and you can see I have a couple of them. I love this base item, and I love it even more in the League Hall. That's the Aquaman statue we got last year for I think it was for the Valentine's seasonal. And of course the Batman statue, I think we got that for Batman Day. Been a while, so I may be misremembering. And we got that big huge poster for some anniversary event, I forget which one. And you can see with the new Atlantis lair, we have a bunch of new walls where we can put some huge base items. I'm going to show it to you with a few other characters in a bit. It'll make a bit more sense. So obviously a bunch of not poster, but frames from the Earth 3 DLC. Our friend Crypto, obviously. You have to have a Crypto in your lair. You have to. There's also this little guy that you can summon. It's something we got as a gift, when was it, last summer, I think. And there's the Christmas tree we got last year. Well, last year. A year or so ago, when during the 2017 Christmas seasonal. We didn't get anything from it this year. I guess I'm gonna have to take it down soon. Of course, the evil Ultraman is right there. And the thing is, once you get used to this big, like this space is a little bigger than the others, and for a few reasons. Or it feels a bit bigger because of the windows like this. So when you get back into one of the other layer, it feels a little confined, if it makes sense. So here you can see one of the few Titans DLC items I got. I didn't get many of those yet because I didn't play the Teen Titans DLC very much. I didn't play the Atlantis DLC either very much, so I'm gonna have to get to it. And we have our little friend Mogo here. Some Alexander Luthor ship, and we have the bigger version right here. You may have noticed, basically I'm still in the process of redecorating my base. Basically when I purchased the Atlantis DLC, the Atlantis base, I had to redecorate my base, and I'm still not quite done with it. And you can see our little Batmobile that's going around. Something we got as a gift some time ago. Not sure if we'll get another one. So this is pretty much the main base that I use, I don't know, 90% of the time. In the past I would use other bases, but now we can have all our armories and all our amenities in one base. So I don't use my other bases as much, but let's go visit some of them just for the fun of it. So some of you guys may remember for quite a while this pretty much was my main base, but I made the change at some point. Here you can see I was making myself a small home theater. I got a whole bunch of Star Labs equipment like this one. I'm gonna have to get more during the anniversary event. And of course I'm using those doors to create some walls within my base. Although once you get used, as I mentioned, once you get used to the slightly bigger base from the Atlantis base, you feel a bit constricted when you go back into a regular base. Like even those areas here, not quite as big as the Atlantis ones. And also the lack of windows. The windows give the illusion that the place is bigger, if it makes any sense. And of course I have a whole bunch of Batman base items. I think I still have a few that I didn't put up in my new base. The same with some Star Labs items. So there's various items you can use to try to recreate fake walls within your base. The only thing you cannot recreate is fake doors. Sadly, if you put a door somewhere, you have to destroy the door in order to be able to get through. So, and I kind of hate doing that, so that's why you don't see me using doors very much. Or if I use doors, I'll use them as fake walls. Here we have the Moebius chair. I love this chair. I should have bought a few more on the broker. Now, of course, I have another Orrery of the Multiverse. I love this base item. This is, I think, the first base item that we got where I said, okay, now I'm into decorating my base. And then later on, we got a whole bunch of Batman base items, of Flash base items, and we have the interactive bat signal, of course. So when you click on it, you turn it on. Obviously, it doesn't project anything really; it just turns on the light. But it's a fun bit. So basically, the crafting station of my base, which is the crafting station I used for quite a long time. But again, nowadays we can have all the amenities in one base, so it's not as essential as it used to. And of course, my sparring target. And the Cosmic Treadmill. Holy crap, when we got this item, I was very happy. I'll show it a bit better in my Flash base, it'll make more sense. And here we have, I'm not sure how we could qualify this base, but it's one of the bases that I used for a long time. Nowadays I don't use it quite as much. I tried to make some sort of a kitchen type. Nah, not too crazy about that. I'm gonna have to redecorate it at some point. Although it does give us some nice room for a huge T-Rex. Usually a lot of bases like the Batcave has like a beam that goes right here. That pretty much doesn't really prevent us from putting the T-Rex there, but it kind of interferes with the character. So here it looks much better because there's nothing interfering with it, so it does look majestic, I would say, imposing, colossal. And of course we have our huge Penny. Here I wasn't too sure what to do with this place, so I made a sort of bedroom using the huge, I guess you could call it the Ra's al Ghul super bed. But it's one of those places where I'm gonna have to think about how to decorate it a bit better, or I'm gonna have to find some better base items to put in there. We'll see. So again, a crafting station with a few crafting items. The Valentine seasonal bath and the bed, of course. So not the most inspiring base, but I guess I'll have to rework it a bit. There's a few items, like I kind of like this Justice League poster. Not crazy about we got a whole bunch of posters, I think around the time that the Justice League movie was coming out, but some of those posters were okay, but this is pretty much the best one I find. And this is pretty much my World War II bunker, I suppose. I'm using the bunker base. And I have a whole bunch of. At first, I had mostly World War II stuff in here, like you can see those old World War II consoles, or those posters that are very much retro. And of course, Horror of the Multiverse is a must. So I have this big, of course, World War II tank. That probably comes from the Age of Justice DLC. Again, some more posters. The Batmobile, of course. With the exit of the Batmobile. Of the Batcave, I should say. Again, some more consoles that feel very much World War II like. And of course, I have the Ultraman signal, which you can activate. There's a few versions. There's a version you can activate. There's a version that's always activated, and there's a version that is never activated. This is also one of those rooms that I should try to decorate a bit better. Like I made walls using those lockers, but I should really try to make something like this. Should be like a conference room or something, but it's lacking a few things. I'm gonna have to rethink it a bit. Here we have the really nice poster with Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern from World War II, obviously. It's been added also as a screenshot when we wait. And here I have what I call my training room. Basically, I have my 2 sparring targets here that I can use to train. Why I have 2? Obviously, 1 is more than enough. But if you have 2, then you can practice switching target. You can also do that in the League Hall. In the League Hall, you have a whole bunch of sparring target. But if for some reason you cannot have access to a League Hall, then you can set up 2 sparring target in one of your base if you want to. But in order to be able to do that, I had to not install the crafting station. It happens. Actually, I could have, but I like having a mailbox. Basically, I like having 2 mailboxes. So I preferred not to have the crafting station. Basically, I have the portable crafting station. So if I really need a crafting station, I have one on me at all time. So this covers my multiverse character. Let's take a look at a few other characters. So let's start with our friend Aquaman. Right now there's the Aquaman movie. I did not get the chance to see the movie just yet, so I can't really talk about it. From what I understand, it seems to be really popular, and people seem to enjoy it very much, and it seems to be making a lot of money. So there's at least that. For Aquaman, by now, we can recreate a pretty darn good looking version of Aquaman. If you want to recreate a classic version, you can pretty easily do it. Here I'm using the Son of Manta pants. It gives those little like shark fins behind the calves. So, and also I'm using the trident from the Drowned. So it can give a pretty nice look to our Aquaman friend. And of course, I'm using the enhanced version of the Aquaman emblem. We were given that emblem like 2 summers ago or something. Sadly, if you don't have it already, I'm not sure if you can purchase it. I don't think so. But I'm sure at some point they'll make it available again. But odds are you'll have to pay quarks or something like that in order to be able to get it. And I made a variation using the Noble Warrior chest piece, basically the Wonder Woman chest piece. And of course the shoulders, the Spindrift shoulders. I love those shoulder pieces. With the gold material on them, you can see they look awesome. And obviously I'm still using the enhanced version of the Aquaman emblem. And of course I'm using the gold also on the belt, the Aquaman belt. The emblem on the Aquaman belt is a bit funky. I wish it was more like the emblem we see on the shoulders, but nah, what can you do? I toyed with the idea of giving him the Son of Manta belt, but not really. I don't have all that much in the lair for this character, so I'm not sure if it's worth it. I have a few things. There's the Aquaman statue we got some time ago. I love this statue. It looks really awesome. I have a couple in my league hall, but I kept one for my Aquaman base because, of course, it's Aquaman. And of course, I have a few base items, a few water-based base items, as you can see. I didn't purchase that many, but I purchased a couple for a few characters, so you can see that whirlwind and all that good stuff. But this is a lair that I haven't done much decorating just yet. I just went with some of the most obvious Aquaman related base items. But with the Atlantis DLC, I should be able to get a whole bunch more Aquaman base items. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. So there wasn't that much to show off with this character. So let's look at someone else. And here we have our friend the Phantom, the Ghost Who Walks. I love this character. This was my first character basically on DC Universe Online. It wasn't exactly my first in the sense that I created maybe half a dozen characters. Like I created a character, didn't like it, deleted it, created a new one, didn't like it, deleted it. So I went through about 6 characters like that before I settled on the Phantom. Basically my first character was like a Batman of the North, like a sort of ice Batman or something. I wasn't too crazy with the idea in the end, so I gave up on that pretty quick. And then I created pretty much what was like a rogue character from D&D using dual swords, and it was pretty much looking like a drow elf from D&D, if it makes sense. And I decided to get rid of it. So, and eventually after like half a dozen attempts, I settled on the Phantom. Obviously using dual pistols. And through the years, we got more and more stuff that allowed us to be able to recruit our friend the Phantom. Like last year, they've added, you can see those nice, this nice belt with 2 guns at the hips. It's the belt from the Absolute Zero style, and they work really well with our friend the Phantom. Obviously, they're backwards. The Phantom doesn't wear his gun backwards like that, but it's a minor nitpick. For a long time, we didn't have any gun belts at all, so it's nice to be able to have something we can use. And I've made a sort of a battle-ready version of the Phantom. Basically, I'm able to use, obviously this version of the Phantom is a member of the Justice League, but I was able to give it a bit more armor, like the boots are armored, the gloves are a bit armored, and of course the shoulders. And of course, why have only 2 guns when you can have half a dozen guns? So using the guns from, I think these are from the Red Hood. There's also Hush that has guns in the back, but I think Hush has only 2 guns. So basically you have your guns in the back, your guns at the belt. You're equipped to go to war. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that eons ago, there was 2 different versions for the Phantom. For a long time, the Phantom was only published in comic strips, and it was published in black and white. But then at some point, when people started publishing in colors, for some reason, in North America, they started coloring the Phantom in purple, and in Europe, they started coloring the Phantom in red. Although originally, they tried to color the Phantom green, because obviously the guy is hiding in the jungle, so it would have made sense for the character to be green, to be able to hide in the jungle. But it worked too well. Like he was so well hidden that you couldn't see him on the panel most of the time, on the comic panel most of the time. So in order for the character to pop from the jungle, so that readers could actually see the Phantom, in Europe they decided to color him red so that he would pop from the background, and in America they decided to color him purple. And as the years went by, for some reason the red version disappeared, and only the purple version remained. But for part of the 60s, early 70s, when the Phantom would be published in Europe, it was colored red as opposed to being colored purple as we know it now. And just for the fun of it, I thought it would be a good idea to have a Halloween version of the Phantom. Here I'm using basically the skeleton style, and I made what I would call my stealthy version of the Phantom, sort of, or yeah, a bit more stealthy. But basically, it's just an excuse to use the skeleton chest and leg piece because I think it looks awesome. let's do a quick tour of the base, but there isn't all that much. Like you can see, there's a few things that the Phantom has, but way back when I was collecting base items, we had a lot of base items that were like couches and tables, and there's only so much you can do with those. But at some point when we started getting like saber-toothed tigers and stuff like that, then I started putting those in the Phantom's base. It felt like it was where it belonged. Those lions, I could fill rooms and I could fill rooms and rooms with those lions. I have so many of those. So I have a couple of mammoths. You can see the pterosaurs behind. So this is the character I played. Pretty much the only character I played for the first year I was playing DC Universe Online. I had tried a few other characters in the meantime just to try out a few things, but basically this is pretty much the one character that I played. Pretty much the first year. The first year, not quite a year and a half. The first year and a few months that I started playing DC Universe Online, this was my character. But then at some point I created what became my Magneto First Class character, and then I transformed my Magneto First Class into what is now my Multiverse character. So let's look at another character. Then at some point we got the Red Lantern powers. I knew I wanted to create a Red Lantern character. I had no idea which character to create. I went through a few characters, but in the end I settled with this one. It's something you'll notice. Like often I create new characters and I delete them and create new characters. So I went through a whole bunch of characters like that. But the idea was to create the sort of a match, an odd mixture of Paul Kirk, the Manhunter, with the Red Lanterns, which were kind of linked with a character called Mark Shaw, the Manhunter, in the 80s. And of course here I'm trying to make a more Manhunter looking look, like the robots. Because basically the Manhunter started with Paul Kirk, which was some sort of a bounty hunter. Pretty simple. This is pretty much looks like the Paul Kirk Manhunter mixed with the robot Manhunters a bit. And his here looks a bit more, even a bit more like the robot Manhunters, because obviously this is the official Manhunter robot head. Although I'm not sure if I'll get the rest of the style, because the rest of the style, yeah, you can kind of tell that it's supposed to be Manhunters, but not really. So I may just stick to this look, or maybe I'll try to come up with some other look. We'll see. But basically, my idea was to make a cross between the Manhunters and the evil Red Lanterns. So a Manhunter that was also a Red Lantern, that somehow made sense to me. So you can see I have a few Red Lantern base items, but I don't have all that much of this character just yet. So it's a work in progress. But this is, I guess I'm not that crazy about the Red Lantern power, because it's not really a power that I use very often, as you can see. I guess I'm gonna have to experiment a bit more with this character. And here we have our friend Doctor Strange. As you can see, you can recreate a pretty darn good-looking version of Doctor Strange in DC Universe Online. You can actually recreate a whole bunch of Marvel characters in DC Universe Online. I may make a video about that at some point, maybe an Avengers video or something. We'll see. Although I don't have many Marvel characters left, basically, as I said, I delete and recreate characters all the time. And I guess a lot of my Marvel characters disappeared as time went by. But of course, I guess I'm gonna have to set my armories. And as you can see, I made a Dr. Fate armory, obviously. I'm using the gold material, especially for the cape. The cape has a texture already in it, so if you don't use a gold material, you cannot really get a nice yellow cape. It becomes like a gray yellow cape. So this is pretty much as close to Dr. Fate as you can get within this universe online, which is pretty darn close. I could probably make half a dozen different Dr. Fate armories. I think I made a video about that some time ago. But for now, this will do. And let's go around our lair a bit. This is the eastern lair. If you guys have looked through my my videos about each type of lair, you may have seen this lair. Although, maybe not. Maybe I used one of my other characters that has the lair. And obviously here I'm trying to have some weird mystical type of creatures, or that huge gong. Holy crap, I got so many of those. This gate, I should get a hold more. I love this gate. I should get more of that. And of course, the orrery of the multiverse. That's a must in any good lair. But you can see those big, awesome statues. I forget where most of these came from. And this portrait, that's from the Halloween seasonal. Holy crap, I love it. I should probably try to get a lot more next year. We'll see. So as you can see, I have another racial gold bed. Got a couple of those for some reason. But whenever I get some weird statue or something that could be kind of exotic looking, like this gong, I try to put it in here. Awesome statue. So I don't really have that much more here than all those statues or books or that kind of stuff. So I guess I would need a lot more of those. But a lot of those bases are work in progress. Like as time goes by and I get more and more stuff, I try to add more stuff to those bases, and I try to give specific base items to specific characters. So if I get something that's sort of ancient looking or mystical looking, I'll try to give it to this character. So let's move on to another one. And of course here we have Captain America, one of my few remaining Marvel characters. And as you can see, using the Flash Call and the Steel emblem, the Commander Steel emblem, we can recreate a pretty darn good looking version of Cap. Actually, this version is even closer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reset my armories again. So this is about as close to the classic version of Cap as I can get. Obviously we need a better chest piece in order to be able to recreate a good version of Cap, or a better version of Cap, but this version here is good enough. And of course, we can recreate a pretty darn good version of what is known as Bucky America, when Bucky was Captain America for a short while. So when we got the Flash Call, it allowed us not only to make an awesome looking Flash character, but it also gave us the call we needed for an awesome looking Captain America character. But before I forget, we can also recreate a pretty darn good version of the Super Soldier character. Basically, for those who don't know, there was this comic. At some point, DC and Marvel made what was known as the Amalgam Universe, and they pretty much mixed their characters together. So this was here a mixture of Captain America and Superman, and it became a character that they called Super Soldier at the time. For his base, I did not decorate his base all that much. As you can see, I could use a bit more decoration. Although he does have a nice looking gym with a few gym bags and all that good stuff. But I guess I could do a bit more efforts to decorate his gym. We'll have to wait and see. And the main reason why I still have this character is there's one thing that I love about this character. Is the way he uses his shield. Oh, I'm not sure why we don't see it. Oh, there we go. And right now we can recreate a pretty darn good looking Captain America shield. Thanks to the steel emblem. For a while we could create a nice looking shield using the star emblem, but with the steel emblem it adds a few rings that allows us to make an even better Captain America emblem. So as you can see, we can recreate some pretty darn good looking Marvel characters, which again is ironic because for a long time we couldn't really create DC characters. For the super soldier character, we cannot really recreate. Basically, the shield that the character was wearing was pretty much the Superman shield. But this is about as close as we can get to giving him the Superman shield as a shield. And this is a character called Sandwalker. It's basically a character that I created, I was about to say a few years ago, but actually it's starting to be many years ago. Basically with this awesome guy called Jim, we created what was known as a Flashback universe at the time. I guess it's still the Flashback universe, but I don't think many people know about it anymore. So this is pretty much the character that I created. And his base, I love this base, but I didn't get to decorate it very much. I was using a similar base with, actually, I'm going to show you this base with another character that has a few more decorations. So here is the same base, but with my Spectre character. So you can see that at some point, pretty much anything Egyptian looking, I would send to the Spectre. I guess once I created the Doctor Strange character, I pretty much gave Doctor Strange a whole bunch of stuff that I could have given to this character. But I love this space. They did a really good job with the space. The atmosphere in the space, it almost feels dusty. Like my nose almost fill up with dust just by being here, because the atmosphere, the illusion is so good about how this is an old dusty place, like an old temple or something. So I thought they did, whoever did this base did a really good job with it. And you can see I don't really use doors unless they're already open. The sad bit is that if you put a door in here, you have to, every time you come in, you would have to break it. So whenever I use doors, I try to use doors that are already open so that I don't have to break them. And as you can see, you can create a pretty darn good looking Spectre character. If you like the classic Spectre character, like I do, very easy to recreate it. I'm using the Celestial Powers. And I was able to make two somewhat distinctive armories. It doesn't look as good, I think, as my other version, but you can still tell that it's supposed to be the Spectre. And the headpiece is actually the official Spectre headpiece from DC Universe Online. And I thought with the skeleton chest piece and a few other pieces, it made for a nice variation for the Spectre. But this is pretty much my favorite version that I use most of the time. So it seems I've made the video a little too long, so I'm going to have to split it in two parts. So this was part 1 of my PS4 hero characters. So stay tuned for my part 2 that should be online pretty soon.